Imagine waking up to the news that two of the world's most powerful nuclear nations stood just hours away from catastrophe, and that one phone call may have stopped the unthinkable. That's the claim former U.S. President Donald Trump makes, that he, and he alone, prevented a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. But just how true is this story, and what really happened during those tense days in the spring of 2025? For decades, India and Pakistan's relationship has been defined by conflict, suspicion, and brief moments of fragile peace. Their rivalry traces back to the partition of British India in 1947, a historical wound that never truly healed. The heart of this animosity is Kashmir, a region both countries claim and have fought over in bloody wars and countless skirmishes. Since the late 1990s, there's been a new, terrifying twist to this rivalry. Both nations possess nuclear weapons. As of early 2025, each side is believed to hold around 170 nuclear warheads, enough firepower to devastate not just South Asia, but the planet. As Dan Smith, director at the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, puts it, "It would be stupid for either side to launch a nuclear attack on the other. It is way short of probable that nuclear weapons are used, but that does not mean it's impossible." The threat isn't just theory. In late April 2025, a terrorist attack near Pahalgam in Indian-administered Kashmir killed 26 people, mostly Hindu tourists. India swiftly blamed the Resistance Front, a group it considers a proxy for Lashkar-e-Taiba, and within 2 weeks launched Operation Sindoor. Indian missiles struck what New Delhi claimed were 9 terrorist camps across the border in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, with India asserting over 100 militants were killed. Pakistan retaliated, claiming it hit at least 7 Indian military bases with missiles and drones. India rejected those claims, but the exchange marked one of the most dangerous escalations in years. According to CNN's Matthew Chance, the India-Pakistan conflict was taking a dramatic turn for the worse, pitching the nuclear-armed neighbors into a dangerous spiral of tit-for-tat strikes. By early May, the world was holding its breath. Both countries put their militaries on high alert. Pakistan's nuclear doctrine does not rule out striking first, which, as security expert Saadia Taslim notes, keeps the red lines deliberately vague. Meanwhile, the Indian Prime Minister declared that Operation Sindoor was far from over, hinting at a readiness to continue escalating if necessary. Into this chaos stepped the United States. Former President Trump has repeatedly insisted that his administration was responsible for brokering a ceasefire by threatening to restrict trade with both nations. He said both nuclear countries, strong nuclear countries, and I talked about trade and said, "We're not doing trade if you guys are going to be throwing bombs at each other." They both stopped, and I stopped that war immediately. But how much did U.S. intervention really matter? Was the world truly one miscalculation away from nuclear disaster, or is this another case of political spin? And if the world's most dangerous standoff was averted, how likely is it that next time we might not be so lucky? Experts warn that the most probable future is a continued pattern of flare-ups along the border, followed by frantic diplomacy. Matthew Chance from CNN puts it bluntly. The conflict was taking a dramatic turn for the worse, pitching the nuclear-armed neighbors into a dangerous spiral of tit-for-tat strikes. These recurring patterns risk becoming the new normal, leaving millions perpetually on edge. But what if things spiral beyond control? Dan Smith, director at SIPRI, cautions, "It is way short of probable that nuclear weapons are used, but that does not mean it's impossible." The presence of over 170 nuclear warheads on each side, combined with vague thresholds for their use, means that even a small miscalculation could have unimaginable consequences. On the flip side, there remains hope, however faint, for a different future. International mediation, robust communication between militaries, and confidence-building measures could inch the region toward stability. Some analysts suggest that a focus on painstaking negotiation over trade, water sharing, and joint counter-terror efforts could lay the groundwork for a safer tomorrow. Yet, as Diatima Chattaraj observed, India-Pakistan relations have touched a new low with a huge trust deficit. Improvement in bilateral ties is unlikely anytime soon. So what lessons can we draw from the 2025 crisis and the claims around it? First, nuclear deterrence may prevent all-out war, but it does not stop the constant threat of escalation. The world learned during the Cold War that accidents, misunderstandings, or rogue actors can put millions at risk, no matter how rational leaders may seem in hindsight. Second, the role of outside powers, like the United States, is both vital and limited. While Washington's threat to cut trade may have contributed to de-escalation, the truth is more nuanced. Reports show that Indian and Pakistani militaries were already in direct communication, and both capitals faced enormous international pressure, not just from America, but from Europe, China, and other regional players. The real credit for restraint may lie as much in this global chorus as in any one leader's intervention. For viewers, the practical takeaway is clear. International headlines about war and peace are more than distant drama. They impact global markets, supply chains, and even the personal security of people living far from the subcontinent. Understanding the realities behind the headlines, rather than just the bold claims of politicians, can help you make smarter decisions, whether you are investing, traveling, or simply trying to understand where the world is headed. So, did American interventions single-handedly avert nuclear war in May 2025? The evidence suggests that while U.S. pressure mattered, peace was not the result of one phone call or one trade threat. It was a tense, multi-layered dance involving military backchannels, political calculation, and the ever-present reality that nuclear war would be a catastrophe for all. And here is a secret fact most don't know. During those tense days, it was actually the Directors General of Military Operations from both countries who took the first concrete step by initiating a direct line of communication, well before public credit was claimed. Sometimes, it's the quiet conversations that shape history, not just the headlines. If you found this analysis thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Tell us in the comments, do you think the world is safer today, or are we just one crisis away from disaster?